republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That is so beautiful.
It is. Thanks, sir.
How come we don't do that no more?
While we're doing it here.
No, I'm just kidding.
I did it in school every day.
Me too, when I grew up.
All right. Good evening. Welcome to this meeting. Chrissy, can we do a roll? Oh, there's agendas in the back of the room if you guys need them. And Chrissy, can we do a roll call, please? It's on. Can you guys all hear me?
Daly,
Yes, you gotta speak.
Commissioner Mattelli, Commissioner Sonio,
Here?
Commissioner Hammer,
Here.
Commissioner Guerra,
Here.
Commissioner Peterson, and Commissioner Hernandez.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any member of the public wanting to address the commission on items that are not on today's agenda, but under the purview of the commission, may do so at this time. There will be an opportunity to approach the commission regarding scheduled agenda items as they are addressed by the commission. Does anybody have any public comments today? Yeah. All right. Anything online? Perfect. Great. Any written communications received by staff? No? Perfect. All right. Let's move on to the consent agenda. Items included on the consent agenda may be acted upon entirely with a single motion by the commission. Are there any items under the, any questions from the commissioners with regards to the items in the consent agenda? And this consent agenda is for the approval of minutes 26-143, March the 12th. Any commission? You moved it? Perfect. Do we have a second, please? Second. All right. Are there any questions? Do we have to go to vote right now, or we need to go to the public first, or? Anything comments on the public? Perfect. Let's go to a vote then.
Commissioner Daly? Approve. Commissioner Mattelli?
Yes.
Commissioner Sonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammer,
Yes.
Commissioner Guerra,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson, and Commissioner Hernandez.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. That was easy. Moving on to the presentation, Development Impact Fees Annual Adjustment. We have a wonderful presentation coming up.
Okay. All right. Here we go. First time for everything. Good afternoon, commissioners. Adriana Robles, your Assistant Public Works Director, City Engineer, here to talk to you about the update to the development impact fees. So normally we don't bring development impact fees to this commission, but this was a request from the mayor that said he would like to see some of these fees that, you know, obviously the commission has purview over traffic matters, and because there is a traffic impact fee as part of the development impact fees, that was a suggestion to also bring it to this body. So here we are. Today we're not asking for any specific recommendation. This is really informational only. Okay, so the state of California gives the city the right through government code to impose development impact fees. And development impact fees are assessed. We receive a periodical that's called the Engineering News Record, and that's really the industry standard for construction. And the Engineering News Record has the construction cost index, and that's how we measure what the adjustment of these fees needs to be. And so what that monitors, it really monitors the construction industry and where those fees are going. And so the comparison that we do is we take January 1st from one year and we compare it to the previous year's January 1st index. And so the update that we're requesting this year, and this will be the request for council, will be to make a 2.8% adjustment. It'll be an increase of 2.8%. Now, what you see down below here in the graph really is the last 5 years, the adjustments that have been made over the last 5 years. There was no adjustment during, and it kind of fell off here, but there was no adjustment during COVID. So the year 2020, 2021. And so then the markets, what they ended up doing was there was a big jump and a big adjustment, and that's what you see in 2022, 23. So the fees that we assess for are listed here. The commercial industrial are within the smaller box. And that basically, it's really our infrastructure fees. So storms, sewers, traffic, and then there is the public service fees, which are also include fire and police. And then, of course, on top of that, for the residentials include all of those. They also include parks, library, and recreation. So this provides you a summary of the revenues and expenditures for the past year for these fees. As of March 2nd, you can see here, as of March 2nd, the balance of all these fees was $20.9 million. And really the big boost, I don't know if it's a big secret, but the big boost really was the Amazon project. And that's really primarily in our traffic impact fees. That's where you'll see the big change. Because that one right there, you'll see that in the balance, it's $13.9 million. So part of what we're trying to do, again, when it comes to increasing outreach and knowledge and understanding of these fees is really we're going to additional places, right? So we normally do the notification to the chamber and to the development community along with the Builders Association. But this year we also took this item to the Planning Commission, again as an informational item. We went to the Finance Committee, which is this week. And the Finance Committee really, they're the recommending body for this item. And then now we brought it to you as an informational item. It will be going to the City Council on April 21st as a public hearing. And then if the City Council approves that 2.8% increase, then it would become effective on July 1st. So now we're just ready to answer any questions if the Commission might have something.
Thank you very much. All right, will you, Commissioner Hernandez, do you have any questions regarding this report?
None whatsoever.
Mr. Peterson? Nope. Ms. Daly? Mr. Orlando Arsenio?
Thank you for the presentation. Yeah, my question is going to be focused on a little bit of information from the other, the input from the other commissions that this has been taken to. Mm-hmm. I remember during COVID, there was obviously, all of the things that were shut down, and I know that was a decision made by the council at that current time, is to kind of maybe stop that increase from happening. So I saw the graph, and that was for the increase. But right now, as it is, what have been some of the pros and cons, or some of the comments and concerns from the other commissions that stood out to you?
So there was minimal comments. From the Planning Commission, what we did here, it was really just on housing numbers and not really so much as to the development impact fees for housing. It was really the commission wanted to hear more on housing numbers outside. It didn't really pertain to the development impact fees.
Okay.
One of the other items that they did bring up, though, it was how were these fees applied, right? How is it that they were applied? So for that, what I informed the commission was that fees are basically assessed with depending on the nexus studies that are done.
Yeah.
So we, just recently the council passed approval of an increase of the sewer rates. This was just last year. And so what we did was we studied exactly what improvements that the sewer system needed and how much of that can be attributed to development and how much of that is attributed to the city itself. So then that portion that's attributed to development does not get paid by that rate increase. It gets paid by these development impact fees.
Now, let's say that it was the city council's recommendation to not, at this point, make those increases. Where would that gap come from?
Well, we don't really make up the gap. What happens is that delays implementation of those projects
Okay.
because there really
So they
isn't.
can't move forward.
It's basically if you don't have the funding, you're not gonna, unless if it's council really pushes a project and says, okay, we want this done and we're gonna allocate, general funds to it, that's the only way.
Okay. No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Mattelli.
Hi there, thank you for the presentation. I do have a question just to help me understand. How are the fees collected?
So the fees are collected when someone comes in with requesting a building permit. So if you come in with a request with a building permit for a commercial or an industrial facility, and you're increasing, say it's an existing facility, and you're increasing the square footage of the facility, that's when we assess fees, or if it's a new facility. There are certain credits that get applied. So if you're coming in and it's an existing facility and you're demolishing that facility and building a new one, then you get credit for the previous facility. Now, when we're talking residential, there's a lot more exemptions that come in. So if you're building, say, in a lot that's part of a subdivision that's an empty lot, there's certain, the code has certain credits associated with that. If you're building an ADU, state law actually limits how much development impact fee can be assessed to that.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Guerra.
Hi, thank you. Great presentation, Ariana. And I want to go back to, you went to the Amazon. I'm going to bring that up. You have it at 20.9 million for the 25-26 year, correct?
Amazon was not that. This is the balance of all of these fees.
Okay, Amazon's not included in here?
Amazon is included in here, but the balance is of the total fees.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking is because I brought this up at the city council meeting, how these fees were not collected up front for Amazon. The 4 million was not collected for 25-26. And if you watch the last, not this council meeting, the one before, the city manager, Eddie Mendez, told me they're non-operational. And I asked him, what does that mean?
It's different types of fees. It's different types of fees. So this is development impact fees. The balance that you see under, can I go back to that? Can you go ahead and put it up? Okay.
Yeah, it's at number 5.
Okay. Okay, right here.
There we go.
So you'll see that in so first of all, like I said, this is the total balance. The 20.9 million is the total balance of all of these fees. What you see here, there's a big balance under the traffic.
Yes.
13.9 of that 10 million was paid by Amazon. So this is development impact fees. What that means is we assess based on the building square footage how many trips are estimated by this facility.
Okay.
And that is paid at the time that we accept that application for a building permit.
So you collected 13.9 million last year, then I want to say last January, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, not last January, but over the last year, we
Because you said it runs
collected.
from January to January, so I'm going to figure you either did it last January or you did it this January.
No, the January to January is the comparison of the index for adjusting the fees. These fees
Oh, I got
were
you.
basically,
Okay.
this is the balance as of now. It doesn't tell you when we collected them.
So this is just a development fee, pretty much.
Development impact fee, correct.
Okay, the reason why I'm questioning is because why wasn't the public informed of that fee? You're doing it now and it's already been over a year.
There's no requirement. This is basically standard operating procedure for development. It's basically when someone wants to obtain a building permit and it's a new building, we assess for impacts.
Okay, I wish I'd be more transparent. Okay. Thank you, that's all. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I just have a quick question, also Amazon related, just because I'm curious. So I'm assuming that because the permit has already been issued, the next year we're not going to have such a big fund balance because we're not expecting a $10 million impact fee from developments in that area, right? So we're going to probably go back down to 4 or 5 million-ish.
Well, the fund balance is if we don't use that balance, right, then we would continue to carry that fund, right?
Okay.
So it's really as we use it, that's when, and actually right now we're assessing, we're looking at certain intersections to see if we can make improvements so that we take advantage of that.
And that was my next question. Do we have, because there is such an influx of cash in this account, is there specific things that we're looking at as earmarking these funds for that?
So the way that, say, traffic impact fees, we do have a traffic fee ordinance that already has defined. So when we moved forward back in 2002 with the general plan, what happens at that time is an analysis is done of what all of that development will do. And at that time, we basically analyzed what would need to be the projects that came in order to facilitate that development. So with that, this area where Amazon is located was analyzed as part of that.
Okay, so we're maybe, I'm assuming then that some of the intersections on Abbott and whatnot might get some improvements because of the traffic flow that's associated with this.
Correct.
Okay, cool. That's the only questions I had. Are there any questions from the public regarding this item? Crickets? Online crickets? No crickets? Okay. All right, then the public comment is closed at this time, and since this was just a presentation, no actions required, we can move on to the next item, which is consideration agenda, parking citation fines schedule update, item 26-150. And another presentation coming up.
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. We are presenting on the parking citations fines schedule update. Yeah. We'll get started. It's gonna disappear a little bit, but it's coming back.
Still kind of new. Still has that new baby smell. She's gonna be 2, so she's still, newish. Yeah. She still makes us have to be on our toes and running around the house. And yes, she is. She's walking. It was funny. She wasn't actually walking for her first birthday. Our first daughter was walking for her first birthday, and I still remember telling my wife, I go, she's gonna be walking for her whole entire life, probably. I said, if it takes her a couple extra weeks, a couple extra months, it's all good. Who cares? Oh my God! But she's not even gonna be able to stand up to hit her pinata, this, that, and that. I'm like, well, then have her sit down and hit the pinata.
Okay, good evening, Commissioners. Sorry about that. So yes, this item is regarding the parking citation schedule fine updates. Click on the screen, Chrissy, please. There you go. So in 1992, the state of California approved Assembly Bill 408. And what that bill did was allow agencies to establish their own parking citation fines. From that, the city has been updated. They've updated the parking fines in 2004, 1994, 2004. Most recent years, 2017, 2018, some amendments of a citation was added. And then the last update was in 2023. That update was pretty extensive as city staff at that time looked into all the municipal codes and California vehicle codes that might have been missing from the schedule that was prior approved, and they did a lot of cleaning up on that. At this current update that we're proposing, which the California Vehicle Code, the section 40203.5. What that one does is that what that states, or that code states, is to the extent possible, issuing agencies within the same county shall standardize parking penalties. And that being said, that leads us to the way that the parking fines are proposed. I'll go to the next slide, which shows some of them, not all of them. But here we have, and per the CVC code, you'll see that some of them on the comment section, they're lining up with averages, and that's averages from local agencies within the Monterey County. There were some too non-responsive, and then due to some of the municipal codes not being within every agency, the city did reach out to City of Watsonville, City of Gilroy, and City of Santa Cruz, and weighted those into the average and the calculations as well. For the majority, I believe we're seeing $5 to $10 of increase. And on here, one that I do want to mention, it was on the staff report that we presented back in December 2025, and it was regarding the California daylighting law. We were proposing at that time a $45 amending into the existing parking citation schedule. And with the update, aligning it with other violations that are similar in nature, or as you'll see in some of the comments, we're aligning and similar to Monterey, as Monterey was one of the primary ones that has recently updated their schedule as well. There were, besides Monterey, I believe there was 2 other agencies that did their updates as well. But these are some of the violations on the attachments. Attachment 1 has all the violations, but some of these are angled parking, where the city has angled parking. It's those segments are identified in the municipal code, signed, and then enforced. We have red zones, green zones, and then some of the California vehicle codes can relate to parked on crosswalk, the one I mentioned, and then the one I mentioned, which was the late daylighting law. The fire hydrant comes from the California Vehicle Code, parked on sidewalk, and then some related to disabled parkings, stalls and zones. So those are some of the proposed updates. Again, some of the other parking fines have similar comments in nature in regards to their proposed fine. With that, the recommended motion is a motion to recommend City Council to approve a resolution adopting the updated schedule of parking citation fines. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions and comments.
All right, start on the other side. Commissioner Orsonio.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. One of my questions is, in determining what is currently, if you could go back to the slide, I don't know if you could go back to the slide that has all of the numbers on there, because I just wanted to point out a couple of them really quickly. So when determining something like expired, and the one I'm going to point out, the one that kind of just jumped out at me real quick is expired registration. Existing is 90. The average is 63.58. So I know in some of the other places you'll have here where in some of the other comments, you'll say increase to align with Monterey. Expired registration, it being existing at 90. Is that probably safe to say that at that moment you guys increased it, or it was increased because of jurisdictions that are surrounding? Is that typically what you guys, or how it's?
The ones regarding registration and tabs, about the display license plate, those were addressed in the 2023 update. And there was one fee existing at that time, and the proposed was to align all the similar registration and license parking fines to that one, to match to that one, and that's why the increase seems higher than the average.
Okay.
But at that time, there was to align those similar to the existing one that was a 90.
Okay, and like I said, I just obviously I can't remember to 2023, but here I see increase to align with fines similar to Monterey. So it looks like some of these fines are kind of just jurisdictions that are probably close by, and then obviously in some of them there's no average. So that was just my question. But I mean, I don't think people like to be fined anymore, but also I think it's a way to encourage them to play by the rules. So no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Mattelli.
Hi there, thanks for the presentation. I do have a couple of questions. So, for example, on the expired registration, it says correctable. So if I get a ticket for my registration expired and I get the registration paid for and I submit that, then is this fee zero?
Yeah, then that's what the correctable violation is.
So it just goes down to zero? Like,
Yeah,
there
you
would be no
wouldn't
fine.
have any violation at that time. And don't quote me, but I believe based on past, presentations or public announcement, it's there's some, because of the DMV and how they're backed up in terms of their processing. If a officer, finds someone that hasn't expired, there's some grace period there, and that's why it's a correctable violation. So there's some time there to correct the expired registration.
Oh, so if you don't correct it within that time frame, then you still pay the fine?
I don't have that time frame.
Right,
but
whatever it is.
But yeah,
Yeah, okay. That was it. Thank you.
thank you.
Commissioner Guerra.
Yeah, thank you. Another great presentation. I want to go back to the false evidence of registration. Is that like when you registered your car but you haven't got your tags? Is that under that jurisdiction? Or what is false registered registration? What is that?
That's a good question. I don't think I have all these memorized with the CV code, but false evidence of registration, maybe you have someone else's either tags or something.
Someone else's plate,
Yeah,
pretty much, okay.
yeah.
So that would be, the one I'm talking about is probably the tab not displayed. Would that be, is that the sticker?
Yeah,
Because we have that issue with the DMV lately. I know I register a lot of vehicles, and I never get any, you can't go down there and get them anymore. You have to order them online, or you have to wait in line to get them from the machine. And that takes like anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours with the big old line they have. So when you send them through the mail, I always print out a copy, and I want everybody in the public to do the same thing. Print out a copy that it's paid, print out a copy of your tag that you get from the DMV. I do it online. It's easier through my bank account. It's done instantly, and just carry that around. But I'm thinking, what's the violation for when the peace officers pull you over? Is there a grace period? Oh, there's no grace period for that?
I want to say there's some grace period.
Okay.
And then if the sticker hasn't come in, it's been paid, the sticker hasn't arrived, the officers or police officers are the only ones that have or only ones in terms of city
It's
staff.
at their discretion too.
That has the database to look up that information. So, can't say for sure, but if they see something that might seem odd and they pull it up, they might not proceed with the stop. But yeah, they have access to the database, so they're aware.
Okay. I also had one for the, when you guys do the fire hydrants, a lot of people just abuse that one. I see that one really low. Is there something we can do? Because I don't know, if they can't see the fire hydrant, I mean, how do you miss a fire hydrant? Can we put a sign there or something to display it, to let them know? I mean, can we help the people out?
It's per Civic C code, it's allowed, it doesn't need any signage, any markings to be enforceable. And what we suggest when we get the calls is submit a Q alert through our Salinas Connect app, and that'll get into the parking enforcement.
And then my last one is, when you do have signs that are displayed, can you put them displayed not just in one area, throughout the whole area? So there could be multiple signs that will be legible to the public?
Yes. Yeah, there's certain spacings that we do in terms of when we're displaying signs.
My thing is this, I don't mind that, but if you can have them legible, and if they're not blocked by a tree or a bush or something, make sure that's done, so we don't have misinterpretation of the public and the city having an issue with how they present a violation like that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And that can also be something that can be reported, whether it's announcement to the commission or the public. If there is something blocked, and I've done it myself, where I've seen either signs either hanging, signs that turned, signs that are blocked by branches. I have reported those in the past before, and the maintenance department typically gets to them pretty quickly.
Yeah, the reason why I asked, you have an angle park, is that an angle parking, the one you have in the front here?
Correct.
Okay, you have it facing that way. You have a
Correct.
picture like this way, and then the angle parking information is facing that way.
Correct.
So you can't see, and then if you park and you've already parked, all you see is a tree there, and you don't see the sign.
Well, so the sign is positioned to where it's letting you know what type of angle or what type of position you're parking, letting you know it's a back-end angle, and that's why the sign is turned that way.
Okay.
Because the movement or the parking should be coming from, if you're coming from Central, onto here and passing Gavilan, and then parking back in on these stalls, on these front stalls.
But if someone's coming this way, how does he see the sign?
So
I'm just saying, I'd like to have it more transparent, I mean.
yeah, no, and typically I guess the idea is that someone doesn't come from the opposite side and
Oh,
parks.
You're in
And the
Salinas,
idea,
you know
yeah.
that we do.
Yeah.
Everybody goes the opposite way. Okay, those are all my questions, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Hernandez.
Thank you for your presentation, but on this blocking bike lanes, is that is that enforced? Because, I mean, you have people parking like in all the schools, and are people being ticketed?
That can be sent, like mentioned, that can be sent through Salinas Connect, and that's forwarded to parking enforcement. And then they'll respond.
Okay, but you have no numbers of how much you have ticketed or whatever you've gotten?
No, we don't.
Nothing, you
I don't
have
have
no-
those. I don't have those
Or
numbers.
records of that? And this information that we asked for or whatever, that is shared in this commission, where does it go? To the city manager or, like questions like that? Does he get this?
Say that again. Can you
You know,
repeat your question?
like when we ask you a question about like certain items that we need information on traffic,
Mm-hmm.
on streets, or who gets our information, our input, or questions? Who gets that? Does it stay here?
After
Yeah.
this?
Yes.
After this, the council, at their request, they get the information from the commissioners.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Peterson.
A couple questions about Laz. I usually do breakfast at First Awakenings in Old Town, and I occasionally see Laz vehicles at like 7:30, well before the time restrictions. And I'm wondering what they're doing there. Are we paying them to be there when they can't enforce time? I'm puzzled.
I can follow up with city staff on that,
Thank
who
you.
manages the parking agreement.
Thank you. The other last question is, are they authorized to enforce things like handicap disabled ramps? Because
I believe so,
those get
yes.
blocked a lot.
Yes, those can be reported to them as well.
Thank you. And if I can make a quick answer, because I used to deal occasionally with fake registration. And when I was working, and there are people, fortunately not many, who will create their own license plates. And it's illegal as all get out, and Salinas Police catches people doing it every once in a while. But there is a political persuasion that says it's all right. And related to that, at one time there was a Native American tribe in the Ozark Mountains in Arkansas that was selling their own license plates, claiming they were legal. So you get games like that, and that would be false registration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Daly.
I just have a couple of comments and a question. Thank you for
Thank you.
this very detailed thing. I currently know that we are doing third-party fines. The police department has hired another third party to do the
So the Public Works.
citations.
The Public Works Department manages the agreement with the third-party contractor, LAS. The agreement is through the Public Works Department.
So it's Public Works, not police.
Yeah.
Will it ever revert and go back to the police department for
I think that might be a
fines?
question for, yeah, we don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be something that I think we should chat with the city council about. Because my understanding is that we're becoming more and more fully staffed, and it seems like it would behoove us to save money if we're getting all these fines and collecting all of them. Anyway, thank you. So this is the updated one, the latest, and our recommendation would be to move this forward for city council to review and approve. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay, I just have a few small questions. Do we know yet, or did we ever find out the ratio of the percentages of what actually comes to the city and what actually goes out for processing? Did we ever find that out?
Yes, so the percentages is 40% goes to the courts, 15% is for the ticket processing, 3% to the DMV, and 42% comes into the city.
So, okay, so so on a $100 ticket, we get $42.
Yep.
Okay. And then do we know if where does that money go? The 40, let's say the 42%, does that go into the general fund or back into a parking enterprise fund, or?
It's to the enterprise fund, which pays for the contract, and ends up paying for the contract and the contract
Probably
expense.
part of the contract.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and then, and the parking enterprise fund, the way I understand it, also includes the garage, all of the stuff associated with parking, basically, right? Okay, cool. That's basically the only question I had. The only other comment, I don't want to rewrite the book, but it's kind of all over the place, $50, $55, $65, et cetera, et cetera. Wish they were just all 55, all 60, and keep it simple. But I don't want to rewrite the book. I'm not going to bug you guys for that, but maybe next time. All right. Sorry. Guess we're going to open it up to the public for general questions. Anybody have any questions from the public? Anything online, Chrissy? All right. So we're going to close the public comment. And then if there's no other questions from the public, we're going to bring it back to the commission for discussion or a motion. Does anybody have any other questions, comments, or want to have a motion to adopt staff's recommendation?
I have a motion to adopt.
Yeah, motion. Can we have a second, please? Second? Yeah. Perfect. Let's do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Daley?
Approve.
I'm sorry. Can we redo the motion? Who made the motion? Guerra? And second was?
Hernandez.
Thank you, sorry.
Oh, Peterson.
Commissioner Daley?
Approve.
Commissioner Martelli?
Approve?
Commissioner Usonio?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Guerra?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson? And Commissioner Hernandez?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Excellent. Thank you very much. That moves us over to administrative reports. Commissioner comments and reports. Start over there with Commissioner Usonio. Do you have anything to report?
Well, yes, I just wanted to thank Commissioner Guerra for leaving this invitation, being part of the Traffic and Transportation Committee. This definitely falls, I think, maybe in our purview, but the Crusaders are going to be having a car show, Blessing of the Car Show at Madonna del Sasso School here, May 16th. So if you have an opportunity to go out there, it looks like all customs, originals, classic, lowriders, VWs, trucks, 4x4s, hot rods, street muscle, imports, domestic, luxury, and mamalonas. Okay. Well, it looks like food trucks, vendors, and music. So if you guys don't have anything to do, thank you, Commissioner Guerra. It'll be May 16th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. I'll see you there. Thank you. Nothing else to report.
Commissioner Martelli.
I'm sorry, I just have one more question. Is the fee schedule published somewhere? Not at the moment?
Not at the moment.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Or technically, it is published because it's an attachment in, anybody can access the Salinas Legistar, which is where the city has and hosts the staff reports and attachments. So it is there as an
I'm
attachment.
sorry, what did you say it was? Salinas something?
Salinas Legistar.
Okay.
It's where all our
Or
minutes
it's,
and
and-
agendas are posted.
Yeah,
Oh,
city
okay.
website, city council agendas and minutes, and you can find them there.
So if somebody wanted to look up the fee schedule, though, they'd have to know that it was on an agenda and open up that, excuse me, and open up the attachments and
At this time,
see
yes.
it. Okay, thank you.
That's it? All right, Commissioner Guerra.
Thank you. Again, I wanna second that. Thank you, Mr. Usonio, for bringing it up for the Crusaders, May 16th, 10 to 3. blessing of the cars. Got to do it, good food, good vendors. I don't know if there's going to be a fee. I think it's 40. Yeah, 40, but I know that we're talking about that. It might be a different fee on there, but I'll get back to you guys on that. Yeah. Yeah, they're working on making that free, hopefully. We'll work on it. I'll let you guys know. Also, don't forget, we got to vote November 3rd, Measure E and G. So guys, you got to, if you believe we can run the city like that, we need to all be prepared to vote for that. There's a lot of issues there. There's a lot of money that we need to account for. So instead of making surpluses of money by these two measures, E and G, we need to make sure we know how to distribute it properly with the city and trust the city with that. That's my main concern. We want to make sure that the city can fund every program we have here the way it should be funded. And roads, streets, lights, minimal things that infrastructure should be number one on there. And not, no disrespect to the nonprofits, not just giving away our money to nonprofits and things like that. We need to think about everybody here in the community. There's a lot of people out here that don't have a place to live, homes. We haven't built any homes in a while. We need to do that. We need to use our money wisely and put the right people, and hopefully the city council will get it together and get it done for us. Okay, that is all for me. Thank you, guys. Have a great evening.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Hernandez, do you have anything to report?
Nothing. Thank you so much.
Great. Commissioner Peterson? No way. Commissioner. No. We're fine. Thank you. Commissioner Daley. All right. Then the last. Yes.
I'd like to give a couple of announcements, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Commissioner Guerra, for mentioning Measure G. Measure G, we will have a couple of informational meetings on April 15th and April 29th. April 15th, 6 to 7 p.m. at the Salinas Community Center. That's Sherwood Hall, basically. But just so that everybody is aware, my entire traffic staff is Measure G funded. So if you're kind of wondering where does some of this money go, all of the traffic division staff are funded through Measure G, and quite a bit of the streets crews as well are funded through Measure G. So that's just some of the items that get funded through this. Also, April 25th will be the Salinas Earth Day celebration, and that one will be held at Sherwood Park from 11 to 2. And then on May 2nd, it will be the second annual Salinas Day, and that's basically at the train station from 9 to 2.
Great. You got one more? All right, real quick. 'Cause now you're on my time.
I want to give a shout out to Osornio too. He's having the taco trucks, the grubbin. What do you call it? Grilling and grubbin? What's grubbin? I'm sorry. There you go. This Saturday, what is it? 12 to 9? I'm sorry. 3 to 10. Sorry. Come on by. They have nice drinks out there. I've been out there before. Good food. Try something out. Try something new. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Make sure you make it this weekend.
Now we're on my time. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for your comments. Thank you for the public announcements. We should all be proud of the things that we're doing here in Salinas. And obviously, if we want to see Gerardo around, we better vote for this. But the other thing I do want to echo Commissioner Matelli. Please put these things on the Public Works website where we can track down, because it is, I've actually looked, I had to go on a wild goose chase to find out some of these rates on things, and it would be very much appreciated if they were easily found on the website versus going to Legistar. So.
If I can also say something else, we are doing some major updates to our website, and that is partially required because of, I think it's state law or federal law, but basically we have a time frame where we have to make sure everything's accessible. So,
Yeah, that law just passed, so the lawsuits are starting to hit, so we better get caught up.
correct. So we are working diligently on updating our website. So you might see some changes, maybe some delays on this, but it will get posted at some point.
Awesome, thank you so much. With that, I think we're done for tonight, so I'm going to call this, adjourn this meeting at 6:50.